All right. Welcome to the Rules Confirmation and Public Elections Committee meeting of our new term. I want to thank everyone on the committee. Welcome to the new members. Welcome to the returning members. I want to do a quick thank you to Councilmember Preptit for agreeing to be my vice chair for this year. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We do have a quorum here with myself, Councilmember Cash, Councilmember Druffel, Evans, and Preptit. And Evans. Did I say Evans? You did. Okay. So, first is the public comment pursuant to Section 844.112 of the Tennessee Code. Annotated time is reserved for public comment on legislative items appearing on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to speak may sign up on the council committee sign-up sheet posted outside the room where the committee is scheduled to meet. Public comment sign up for council committee meetings will end immediately before the meeting begins. Public comment is limited to 8 minutes after all council committee meetings, and each speaker is allowed 2 minutes to speak. We currently do not have anyone signed up for public comments. So we'll move on to resolutions, and I do have a small consent agenda of 2. So if any of these 2 items need to be pulled off, just let me know. The first one is RS 2023-4 by Sepulveda, and the second one is RS 2023-41 by Swara, Porterfield, Huffman, and others. Anything that needs to be pulled? No. Okay. So, RS 2023-4 by Sepulveda, referred to the Rules, Confirmation, and Public Elections Committee, approves the election of certain notaries public to Davidson County. And then RS 2023-41 by Swara, Porterfield, Huffman, and others, referred to the Rules, Confirmation, and Public Elections Committee, renews the support and commitment of the Metropolitan Council towards principles constituting a community covenant with the aim of creating opportunities for all residents of Metropolitan Nashville to thrive. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that's 5 in favor, 0 against. Next, we'll move on to late items. The first one is late filed resolution by Porterfield, Gamble, Nash, and Parker. A resolution honoring the life of Mr. Arnett H. Bodenheimer Sr. And we do have the sponsor here. And pursuant to a new state law, I'm going to have you move a little bit further. I do have about 3 questions I need you to answer. Does anyone want to move it?
I do.
Okay.
Second.
So, Councilmember Porterfield, why is there an emergency?
Thank you so very much, Chair. Arnett Bodenheimer was one of my constituents and also just a jewel to Nashville. Unfortunately, he passed away before the filing deadline, so this is a resolution to honor him, his life, his commitment and work to the city of Nashville, and we would like to have it available to present to the family at his homegoing services this week.
Great, thank you. I'm just going to continue asking you the question for the state.
Thank you.
Could the legislation have been timely filed?
No, he was still alive.
And can the matter wait until the next council meeting?
Unfortunately not. It would not make the funeral services if we wait until the next council meeting.
Thank you, Councilmember Porterfield.
Thank you.
Is there any opposition to the late filing of the legislation? Okay, so we have no opposition and you are good to go. Thank you, Councilmember.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair, you need
Yes.
to take a vote on the content. of the
yes.
resolution.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are 6. 4,
Seven?
5, 6, 7. Yes, 7.
6, 7.
And Toombs is finally here. All right. The second late filed item is by Councilmember Stiles. An ordinance approving a license agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by and through the Department of General Services and the Salvation Army for use of storage space located at 5244 Hickory Hollow Parkway, Nashville, Tennessee, parcel number 163000222100. Proposal number 2023 M039AG001. Councilmember Stiles, thank you for being here. Can I get a motion? All right, Councilmember. I have 3 questions for you as well, and that is, why was there an emergency, whether the legislation could have been timely filed, and whether the matter could wait until the next council meeting?
It is being late filed because Metro Legal was not finished with it yet for the timely filing, and so it wasn't ready until later that afternoon, that Friday that it was due. And this has to get done because they need to be in that space prior to our next meeting. Or rather, excuse me, we're doing the 3 readings, and by the end of the 3 readings, they need to go in immediately into that space for Angel Tree. So, I needed to get it in for this meeting.
Thank you. Is there any questions or opposition? All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Thank you so much, Councilmember. 8 in favor, 0 against. Next, we move on to elections and confirmation. The first one is for Mr. Mark Wynn. All right, if you want to grab a chair and move to the center. All right, so this is Community Review Board appointment of Mr. Mark Wynn for a term expiring on October 31st, 2023. Mr. Wynn, thank you so much for being here. I
Thank
don't know
you.
if my colleagues need one of these. Pass those around. So first, are you a registered voter of Davidson County?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you serve on any other boards and commissions?
No.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Wynn, for being here. I'll open up the floor to my colleagues if they have any questions they'd like to ask.
Hi there. I was on rules last term, and so I think this is probably your second or third appointment, reappointment?
Maybe 3rd. yeah.
Okay, because I remember you from before, because I thought your background was so impressive,
Thank you.
and so I'm glad to see you have the opportunity to be reappointed, especially during this really significant time of transition. And so from your perspective, going from the Community Oversight Board to the Community Review Board, what do you think the greatest opportunities or challenges are of this transition that you all will be facing?
Well, thank you for the question. We've been well led by Director Bitchard. Very professional staff, focused on topics like use of force and other issues. I think, of course, we're going to follow where she takes us in the future, but I think we've got a great opportunity to give policy advice to the police department, and there's 3 policy that I would like to see explored. One is a more trauma-informed response to victims of crime, training every officer in the neurobiology of trauma. Second is mitigating bias and racism in law enforcement. Even though you might not practice it, you may be doing it and not know it. So there are curriculums around the country that are being used by police to mitigate bias. And the other is sexual misconduct by law enforcement. It's a serious issue. I'm very proud of our police department. I'm a product of Metro Police. I've retired as a lieutenant detective, and I'm glad that I got the experience that I did. So when I took that experience, when I retired, the Justice Department asked me to start to work for them, and I have for the last 20 years doing this very thing, looking at police operations, looking at administration, policy, training, discipline. And I thought, well, if I've learned it out there, I need to bring it back to Nashville and pay back the taxpayers that paid me for so long. as a cop.
Very good, thank you.
All right. Anyone else from the committee?
Great resume.
Mr. Wynn, thank you for being here.
Sure.
So one area that, in regards to police policy that I'm acutely aware of, is the area or the practice of the collection of First Amendment related activities of individuals. So tracking their locations for folks who are engaged in First Amendment protected activities. What would be your current assessment of current MNPD policy regarding the collection of such data, if that question makes sense? I
The
can
pilot
rephrase it.
project is over for license plate readers, and they've started to put the machines in place. I've always thought it was a good technology. It's fairly old, 10 to 15 years, police departments around the country are using it. But I also think that the oversight board should have a say in the program. We need to be able to tell citizens that the camera systems are not in communities of color where they should be all over the city. They should be equally distributed across the city. And we should honor a person's First Amendment rights. I mean, you can't practice your First Amendment rights at home. You have to get out, you have to associate, you go to your doctor, your friend's house, people who you don't want people to know you associate with. That's your business. And to have surveillance of citizens is a concern, which means I think an oversight board should have some say and knowledge about how they collect the data, what they do with it, how long they keep it, and for what purpose. I mean, there's technologies that are coming behind it, like facial recognition, that really concerns a lot of people who work in people's civil rights. And I think for us to accept it as a product for the police department, the citizens have to be aware of what it does, and it has to be explained to them what this system is all about, so they don't feel like they're being watched night and day.
Thank you.
All right. And I saw my colleague, Councilmember Porterfield.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for recognizing me, even though I'm not on the committee. I just wanted to just speak in support of Mr. Wynn. Mr. Wynn is one of my District 29, my former District 29 constituents. He's still in District 29. I'm just not the CM now. But I stand with him and give him my unwavering support. He has just been an asset to the Community Oversight Board with his experience, with decades at MNPD, being a member of the FOP, standing with people and with the community and addressing the concerns of the community, as well as his commitment to address domestic violence, training police officers across the country, his commitment to making sure that officers are responding in a trauma-informed manner. I just think that he brings such a good, valuable voice and such a good balance. He can give the balance from the police perspective, but he also brings up and uplifts the concerns of the community. So thank you, Mr. Wynn, and I stand in support and ask that you all support.
Yeah, very nice of you, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? All right. So moved. Do I have a
Second.
second? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. 8 in favor, 0 against. Do you need a parking ticket?
Did you park
Voucher.
under here?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. Next is Hospital Authority appointment of Dr. Brian T. Fisher for a term expiring on September 6, 2028.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
When we're voting on these, we're voting that we support or against, or we vote, it seems like in some cases we're voting whether or not we feel that they're qualified. What is exactly our vote?
We're
Good job.
voting to recommend that they are qualified to serve on the Border Commission. All right. Dr. Brian T. Fisher, thank you so much for being here. Do you currently serve on another board or commission?
No.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, I'm going to open up the floor to my colleagues if they have any questions.
Can you tell us more about your interest in joining the hospital authority and what's motivating you to want to come in front of us today?
Yes. I was actually nominated. I didn't express any interest, but someone thought that, based on the conversations we had, that there would be a good synergy here. I went to TSU for undergrad, and I went away for both medical school residency, but I came back here for fellowship to Vanderbilt. I volunteered over at Meharry during a very busy time because I knew that there was a great opportunity there. I've practiced here in Nashville since then. I'm actually chief of the division now. I was chief of vascular surgery for Centennial Medical Center. And I certainly see the promise that exists here in Nashville as the healthcare capital of the world. We have an outstanding community. We have an opportunity to make something great here with both the medical center and with the medical students and residents. And I think that we should take advantage of that, and I'm enthusiastic about the opportunity to do so.
Any questions?
If you were approved for this position, how do you view your role in increasing equity within the healthcare industry or within healthcare here in Nashville?
So no, that's a great question. My career has been dedicated towards amputation prevention. I've dealt with disparities when it comes to not only the Black community, but also Hispanic and the Native American community. That's been the lion's share of my work, and I've presented to Congress and helped introduce legislation to do so. Again, I think we have a tremendous opportunity with the resources and the expertise we have in the community. We can take this to a completely different level. And again, I think that we have the pieces in place to do so, but I'd like to play a role in some accountability and really getting the focus to do so.
Anyone else? All right, well, we do thank you for your willingness to serve. I know that the Hospital Authority has been a top priority for the Minority Caucus for a long time. And so we are excited to see qualified people being brought before us, and commitment from new administrations to continue to support our Metro General Hospital. And I know that with new leadership, with our new chair of the Minority Caucus, Councilmember Toombs, that she will, and all of us will be working hand in hand together to make sure that we continue to build upon our necessary public hospital. So yes, Councilmember Toombs.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to piggyback on that. Equity has been at the center of the caucus's advocacy for Nashville General Hospital, making sure Nashville General Hospital has the resources that it needs. And so we do appreciate your willingness to serve and want to partner with you in making sure that the hospital has what it needs, because it's the people's hospital. We need to take care of it so that it can continue to provide the holistic services that they've been providing for decades now. So thank
I
you.
agree 100%. Thank you.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, 9 in favor, 0 against. Do you need a? Okay. All right, thank you so much for being here.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have Tourism and Convention Commission reappointment of Ms. Neely Glenn for a term expiring on June 30th, 2026. Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so I, myself and my 2 business partners, females, we bought a building in Nashville 10 years ago and rehabbed it, built in 1854, and turned it into an event venue called the Courthouse, just down from Howard Building. And then during COVID, we opened another larger venue down in Wedgwood, Houston. And then we just bought a building in East Nashville, built in 1807, and rehabbed it on Woodland, and that's our 3rd venue. So, small business owner, and Nashville's been a wonderful city to do business in. So,
Thank you so much. Are there any questions from committee members?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not recognized.
You are recognized, Councilmember.
I just wanted to know, I guess, based on your experiences, and you're obviously highly qualified for this role, what are some of the things you'd like to do as part of your next appointment if you're approved?
I think for me, there's a lot of big folks coming into town, big businesses, and I feel like I represent, we have a staff of full-time 10, and again, female-owned. I just want to make sure we're always remembering small business, because I work with caterers and florists and photographers, so we house all these small businesses. So I just want to make sure that I'm sort of letting their voices be heard through me, which I'm grateful for everything coming into town, but I just want to make sure that small business is still heard.
Very good, thank you.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, 9 in favor, 0 against. Thank you so much for being here. Do you need a parking validation?
Sure. Thank you.
First taker.
All right, next we have Tourism and Convention Commission reappointment of Mr. Mark Hayes to a term expiring on June 30th, 2026. Mr. Hayes, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, I moved here about 7 years ago, plus 2 days, I think, to open a new property over in Midtown across from Vanderbilt University, Kimpton Hotel. I'm the general manager there. We opened officially in June of 2017, of the lead up. Helped me get acquainted with the city. My brother's lived here for 15 years or so. His wife has been here for 35 years or so, so there was a familiar connection. I've been with Kimpton for 17 years now. Never where I really saw myself in terms of my career, forestry degree and whatnot, but when I got my first job as a desk agent, the appeal of meeting folks from all over the Midwest at that point, based on the hotel I was in Chicago, this really appealed for me, and then it kind of spread to the variety of tasks in my day-to-day, understanding and learning about the community in which I operated, and then meeting I moved to housekeeping, and it's a different skill set, but you're kind of, you're meeting a diverse background of employee, and it feels like a good reflection of wherever your hotel is located, and that's certainly what our goal is.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions from committee?
I would just make a comment if I could, Chair. I've known Mr. Hayes for a while. I've been on the hotel board when I was on it, and great leader and very passionate about our business. So did a really good job in leadership in the general industry, so thanks. Appreciate that, Tom.
Anyone else? All right, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? All right, 8 in favor, 0 against. Do you need a parking?
Nope, I'm good,
All
thank you.
right. Thank you
y'all.
so much for being here. Next is Tourism and Convention Commission reappointment of Mr. Howard Kittle for a term expiring on June 30th, 2026.
Madam Chair, we ask that be deferred to October 17th. Mr. Kittle could not be here today.
Okay. Can I get a motion on a deferral until October 17th, you said?
So
I guess
moved.
the next meeting, I guess.
Next week.
17.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. In favor, 0 against. Next is the Work Release Board appointment of Ms. Shannon Musgrave for a term expiring on June 1st, 2027.
That also needs to be deferred till the next meeting.
Move to defer to the 17th.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that's 8 in favor, 0 against. And that's the last one. All right, well, we got through that with some extra time. So just a quick note, we will be adopting temporary rules and procedures tonight with one amendment to Rule 15. That's going to extend the date of the CIB when we turn it in, since our term did just start. And later on, we will be having special call meetings to discuss the rules and procedures going forward. Yes.
Thank you for that. That was what I was going to ask about. I do want to say, some of the rules that we went through, and I'm new to this committee, so I'm kind of learning about some of these procedures. But I do hope that when we work on the new rules, we kind of look to them with an eye to kind of plain English and making sure that we avoid ambiguity, something that's kind of accessible to, they're mainly for us, but something that's accessible to the average Nashvilleian. And as a many-year English teacher and got a degree in technical writing, I'm happy to help with that.
Thank you, Councilmember Pash. Do appreciate that. Yeah, there are several things that we'll need to look at. I think continuing to work on our boards and commissions and the makeup of them. I know that I spoke to the vice mayor the other day, wanting those to be more uniform. We've already done some work throughout the last term. We know that with this recent election, making sure that we close a couple of loopholes, so we don't have two council members serving on chairmanships on two boards, and other things like that. So Director Darby, I'm sure we'll send out some suggestions later on, and then we'll schedule those meetings. But is there anything else?
No.
We're all good? Okay. And with that, I move to adjourn. Yeah? All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.